Good morning, everyone. Vloggy Poncho here, back with another daily vlog. Today is Wednesday, January 16th, weighing in at 183 pounds. Goal of progress. Well, yesterday I couldn't remember very much about my dream, and then I forgot to put the pad next to my phone. So this morning, all I remember is that there was a man in the dream. That's about it. I can remember anything else, because I didn't think about it until after my shower. So tonight I will have a notepad next to the phone and I'll get some freaking dreams to talk about. So I decided that instead today I'm going to talk about another useless hobby I have. I was thinking about how interesting it was that I learned to juggle in just a week and a half or so, and then but it was just sort of a useless hobby just for fun. And I remembered that I have another useless hobby here taking up space in the frame. So I thought in this episode I would talk about solving a Rubik's Cube and not actually giving in-depth explanations, but just talking about the way that I do it and the order that I go in. So let me come up there. Oh, God. Oh. So I'm going to be off camera here. It's going to be a little bit weird. But it's like you're sitting next to me, see? And you can see what I see. Isn't that nice? It's a well-planned camera angle, I think, here with my mouth in the corner. Anyway, so this is, the usual Rubik's Cube, just with 3x3. They make them bigger. They go up to, I think you can buy 7x7, but Rubik's doesn't actually make them. I think the biggest the Rubik's company actually makes is 5x5, so that one's actually not very hard compared to the 3x3. This is sort of the quintessential puzzle that I'm sure most of you probably puzzled over as a kid. I remember as a kid I was super excited when I could get one side to all match, and I thought that was really hard. And then in high school, I was on the math team, and I learned how to really solve the cube. So let me go ahead and start scrambling it. Yeah, all these useless hobbies I've got, but this one's been fun in the past. I actually, when I was interviewing for scholarships here at the University of Georgia, they ask you to list any interesting hobbies that you have at the end of your resume, and I just figured how I'll put Rubik's Cube solving on there. It makes me look smart. So I put that on there, and then when I got into the interview for my scholarships, they mentioned it, and they said, "Oh, how fast do you solve?" And I said, "Well, do you want to see?" I made sure to bring it with me, and I actually solved the Rubik's Cube in my interview in about a minute 25 or so. A little bit less than a minute and a half is what the guy told me. He was counting on his watch. But I did that while answering another question. It was nuts. Okay, so the way I like to start is I do a fairly simple method. I just start by putting a plus on one side, because I'm going to try and find the other 4 white pieces. I don't know if you know this, but on a Rubik's Cube, the centers of each side don't move. They just turn in place. So that white center is always in the same place. No matter what I turn around it, the white center doesn't move. It just turns in place. I said that the same thing 3 times. Wow. But on other cubes, like the 4x4, you can move them around if you mess it up. So you have to be careful when you're setting that up. But for this case, this white center is fixed, so we're just going to put the other 4 pieces around it. Now there's a little bit of a trick here, is that you have to make sure that this side matches this side in terms of what color is next to it. So between here, see if you can see that. Between here I want the white and red piece. So let's find it. There it is. So I'll just bring it up. And you can do this part however you want, really. There's no technique. I mean, there are techniques for this, but I don't use one. I just put it together however I see. So there's the green and white. I just moved into place. Where's blue? There's blue and white over here. Usually only a couple flicks away. This one's backwards, orange and white. So I'm just going to need to turn it around pretty much. And there we go. That worked fine. Okay, so now I got the white plus, and this one just happens to be there. And on each side, it matches the middle piece of the side that it's pointing to. So now I'm going to put in the corners. I'm going to put in 3 of them, actually. And again, these corners have to match. So on this corner here, I need to have white, blue, and red. So I got to find that piece. It's over here. And then use any of the methods I know to put it down there. So let's see. So I'm going to bring this piece up, shift this one over to line the white ones up on the bottom, and then put them both down there. So now I have that white corner in place. So I'll do that for 2 more of the corners. And I'm not expecting anybody to actually learn how to do Rubik's Cube by watching this. I just thought I might demonstrate my method because I'm sure some of you know how to solve a cube already, and maybe you do it differently than I do. I'm sure some people do. I knew of people in high school who did it differently. Okay, so now we got almost all of the bottom face. I'm going to call the white face the bottom. So I'm going to leave this fourth corner just unsolved for now. So that's yellow there, if you can't tell. It's not white. Because I want to be able to put in the next layer. So if I'm starting from the bottom here, my white face on the bottom is done. Next thing, I want to get this second layer around the middle to be solved. So I'm going to start putting these pieces in. So I'm going to look for, here's the green and orange. I can just move it right down in there by using my broken corner here. This is called the keyhole method. So I just flip it down into place. And then, okay, so here's green and red. So the way this works is you put the unsolved corner below the piece you want to solve, and then you put the piece you want to put in above the guy next to it, and then you turn it up, or actually, what am I saying? Oh my god, now I suddenly can't remember how to do it. Yeah, there we go. You turn it up and put it down like that so it goes into place. Okay, who's next? You're not up here. Oh, of course the two that I need are in the slots that I haven't solved yet. Oh well. The trick with this is you have to remember to keep moving that unsolved corner around. Okay, cool. So now I've arrived at the last piece here, and I need to put my last corner in so that I can actually have my bottom of my cube be solved. So I'll do that. I'll line those up so you can see how far we've gotten. Down on the bottom there. So there's just one piece in the middle that I have to finish. And there's an algorithm for this. So I can't really explain that algorithm. I don't really even know the move sequence. I just do muscle memory. I've done it so many times I know how it works. But I know that this blue and orange piece here needs to go down here. I want to take this guy and move him down like that. So the algorithm is just this. And it puts him in place. I couldn't tell you how it works unless I really stopped and thought about it, but I just know how it goes. Alright, so now we move on to the top, which is the last layer. The bottom part's done now. I'm not sure how good of a camera angle this is going to be, but hopefully it'll work. Okay, so now I'm going to put the top bit in here. So there's a few steps to do this. Okay, well, the first thing is we want to get the plus on top, just like before. So if we get a line to start with, we do this little flick here to put the plus up. Okay, so now that the plus is in place, we have to get the sides to match. So I'm going to turn this around and see. Oh, we didn't get lucky. Sometimes all four of these sides will already match. So green and red are done, but blue and orange are flipped. So we need to flip them around. So the algorithm for that, oh, that's not it. Oh gosh. Whenever I stop and try and think about, oh god, okay, well now it falls up the cube. Whenever I have to stop and think about what I'm doing, it really messes me up. Because I learned by muscle memory, and at this point I don't have to think about it at all. Okay, so how do we flip those around? That's it. That's an algorithm to do that. I just stop and just not think and just do it for a second. So now that plus is on top is done, and all four of its sides match up. Okay, so now we want to put the corners in the right places, and we'll bend them into place in just a moment. Okay, so they need to be moved around. So there's an algorithm to move the corners around without changing anything else. They need to go around again. I could have gone the other direction. Okay, there we go. So now the corners are all in the right places up top. They're just not facing the right way. The algorithm to do that, to fix that, is pretty simple. So I don't know what the misconceptions are about the Rubik's Cube, but I would suppose that most people probably think that those people who can solve it are just freaking geniuses, and that they can just look at the cube and know how to solve it. And there are some people who can do that, but to be honest, most people who are solving the cube are using algorithms just like these. It took me maybe a week to learn how to do this, and I'm not interested in making more in-depth videos about it because there are tons of them on YouTube. If you're interested, just look up beginners solving the Rubik's Cube, or how to solve the Rubik's Cube, and you'll find algorithms and websites and things, so it'll show you how it's done. But that's about how that goes. One of my best times ever. Wow, that was about 10 minutes. So, the point of this, I'll go down to the floor again. Oh, my back's feeling a little bit better, but it's still not healed. So the point of all this is that with the Rubik's Cube solving and my juggling, I am now very close to the trifecta of useless skills. All I need to do is learn how to ride a unicycle, and I'll be I'll have them all. Thanks for watching. See you tomorrow morning.